And welcome to Bookie's Place. It's going to be a fantastic week. It's going to be a fantastic day. I have a special guest, and you know what we do here. We don't talk about the awards. We don't talk about the accolades. We talk about things that plague human beings. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? I'm in a lockdown. My identity is gone. I've been tied to being a banker all my life. I've been tied to this all my life. Now I don't know where I belong. I'm faceless in a crowd. And we bring the best of the best to come share their experiences with you. And guess what? Today I have a very, very, very special guest. So I want you guys to sit back, relax. It's going to be amazing. I have the one, the only Sam Adeyemi's boo. But listen, she's not just Sam Adeyemi's boo. She is a woman in her own right. She is Mrs. Nike Adeyemi. Listen, man. She's a pastor, she's a preacher, she's a speaker, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's an entrepreneur. Listen, man, she's amazing. And today, you know what? She's bringing a really fresh dimension. She's putting perspective to what you're going to in this season. It's going to be amazing. So I need you guys to sit back, relax. Pastor Nika is awesome. Oh, yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. It's going to be, oh, she's in the field. You are not just a mother to us. You are a role model. We love you so much. People are excited. I've been getting inboxes all day saying, Bouqui, go online now. Somebody even sent me text. It's almost cute. Said, Bouqui, go online. I said, I can't go before time now, you know. So people are excited. People are looking forward to this. And, you know, I just want to say thank you for even coming. You know, first off, let's give honor to whom honor is due. I appreciate you. We thank you for all that you do for us, you know, because when we go through our journeys, seeing someone as transparent as you gives us hope. I want you guys to give Pastor Nikki a Bouqui'S first welcome. Just say, Pastor Nikki, we love you, we love you, we love you. Let's get like 50, we love you. No, really, because you don't just preach. You live what you preach. You raise role models, but you also are a real role model. So we're going to start something. Bouqui'S Place is about transparency. A lot of people have put their dogs and lost their abilities in this season. You know, imagine you being a banker for like 20 years and they rip that from you in 1 second. You don't know where to start from. You don't know what to, you know, it's just crazy. So now, what we want to do is equip people with practical tools, and the best way to do it is you share your story. Because if we give them 7 laws of doing this, they'll be like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. But your story, we're gonna start from the beginning. You're gonna, you know, just pour it out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Bouqui, first of all, let us say a big thank you to Bouqui for setting up Bouqui'S Place and for just being yielded to God at this time to do this. Okay, this is not just, oh, everybody's finding something to do, Insta Live, jumping on, but this was an instruction for you. This was something that came to your mind, something you had done years ago and you had forgotten about the name Bouqui'S Place on TV or radio back in Nigeria. But in this season, you caught on it and it's been amazing and it's been life-changing. At least I know I've watched 1 or 2 episodes so far. So thank you for having me. I don't take it for granted at all. You are thanking me, but I'm also thanking you because you can say, oh, they're old school, they're the old whatever, let's go for the, I mean, it's just a blessing to be called upon, not because anybody's anything. And I thank you and I celebrate you. We've been doing life for a very long time. So I'm here now and it's like, let's shoot. Father, thank you.
Yes.
Where do I start from? First of all, I want to say that, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm a very imperfect person, but I would just say maybe people have chosen to love me or maybe love me back. I'm not perfect. My husband is not perfect. We don't live perfect lives, but we try. to be leaders that we should. So I'm grateful for, to God for the goodwill that we enjoy from people, that people will just rise to your defense, and they don't even want to hear anything, and they just say, no, they cannot, So I thank God for that. And you're one of the people that really, like have our backs and have been there for us too for a long time, as well as many other members of Daystar in and outside the country, wherever everybody is right now. So I celebrate you, Bouqui. Where do I start from? Okay.
From the very beginning.
Okay, from the very beginning. It will be long. Okay, I read architecture. I was born to parents. My parents are alive. They're both in Ibadan, in Nigeria. And my daddy, an academician. My mom, they're both loving, but my mom was very down to earth, accepting and all of that. Daddy was a bit stricter. But fast forward, I came to Lagos to serve, to do my NYC, and then I met my husband. Sam Adeyemi. But before then, I know she would say, wow. It's like, Bouqui, I'm still going to deal with you in a moment. Some of you, when you hear the name Pastor Sam Adeyemi, you're like, oh. I know he's amazing, he's all of that, but sometimes I feel like when you hear his name, you're like, you just put me to one side. So we're going to come to that. That is not true. I know that is not true, but since we're being vulnerable at Bouqui'S place, I might as well spew everything out. Anyway,
give us the tea.
Okay, well, but before I came to Lagos, so I was studying at Obafemi Awolowo University, a great Nigerian university. I was studying architecture 7 years. You went to Ife as well, but you didn't meet me there or anything. We didn't meet there. So many years of studying architecture, and then I finished. I came to Lagos to serve. I was working in a construction firm with my cousin or so, and then I met him, and he was a pastor of a church, a young pastor, and I was a member. And then, of course, fall in love, this, that, whatever. Life happens, and then we start. But I realized that we were from two very different backgrounds. We were different as could be. But I saw that this person had a good heart. He was a pastor, and I knew that I loved him. And I also knew that God was leading me in that direction. So I don't want to say God said, so that I don't spiritualize everything. But in those days, I was a very spirit. I still might be, but with a little bit of wide-eyed,
A little bit of salt.
Yes, exactly. So maybe I wasn't questioning too much, and I wasn't, but I just knew that this was God, and, we hit it off and all of that. And the whole dating and courtship was about 10 months, which if I look back, I think it was short, considering the fact that we were very, very different and we had different backgrounds. So cut the long story short, we started our marriage. And what am I talking? Is this supposed to be about marriage? Why am I talking about marriage? Okay, fine.
Just go as you're being led.
I'm being led, but when you said go to the beginning, but what happened was that, hey, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. Oh my God. Okay. We'll talk later about maybe some places you might need to edit afterward, because this is just for the Insta Live people. Okay. So it was hard. The early years of marriage was hard. And he knows, I can say this to his face because we joke about it now. And I tell him that, well, it's our story and my story. I have a part of the story, which is my story and my journey, and it's part of life. The things that are not so good and the so good is happening now, but the not so good is part of the story, and we can't pretend about it. 27 years, of being married and 28 years of being friends. So we started, but one of the things I noticed was there was hardly enough time. There was hardly enough time for me. I can talk about it now. Before I couldn't talk about it because it'd be like, like painting someone black, or this is an amazing man, and how dare you talk about him in the negative? He's an angel, he's amazing, and he is, you know, amazing and all of that. But that exactly where also is where the problem really was, because both of us are amazing, both of us love people, but in different ways. And we thought this would be a great relationship to come together, but we were not giving ourselves. We were giving ourselves to people more than we were giving ourselves to each other. So we started the relationship, went on the so-called honeymoon. We won't talk about that honeymoon. We always still say we need to do it again. But again, we've had many others. So that has canceled the the so-called one that has. But what happened was that after we came back from Ilorin, where we had our so-called honeymoon, and we came back to Lagos, so he resumed work. I also resumed work where I was working, and his work was in the church, which was Rema Chapel branch, Lagos. He was a branch pastor. It was only after about 2 years that 2 years or less than 2 years, a year and a half after we got married, that we now started Daystar. Yeah, 2 years after we got married. So this was a branch pastor. I was a member. That was where he found me. I was a member. I was the head of follow-up and visitation department. So I used to follow people up. I used to visit them. And that's where we hit it off, you know, just became friends. And I think, you know, the rest is history. So, yeah, you know, yes, but you know, that is a very long story if I go into the fact that I had a relationship that broke up, and he also had a relationship that broke up. So again, but that would be a very long story. So we got married, but it was hard because first day of resuming work, I think he resumed maybe before me, I'm not sure who, but I would close like 4 o'clock, so by 5 I'm home. And we had thought that, okay, home, you'll be home by 6 or whatever. So first day, so let's say this was a Monday or Tuesday, I think it was 9 o'clock, he came in. I looked at the time, I looked at him, I shook my head. You know, I had fumed inside, I had calmed down, I had fumed, and I was just waiting. It was just 2 of us. We didn't have anybody, you know, living with us, just 2 of us. And then he came in and was like, yeah, I know, sorry, you know, yeah, it's not always going to be like that. It's just today, it's just today. There was a lot of work. Next day was 10 o'clock. I was like, you know, I don't even know if I had cried, stopped crying. But by the time he came in, I was like, you know, it was just a small apartment. So you just come in, you're there in the living room, and you're there, you know, and I just looked again like, you know, I looked at the clock because the clock was, you know, we had a clock, you know, weddings, then you get wall clocks, you get drinking glasses, all those things. So I think we had one as a wedding gift, and it was like, I didn't have to say, why did you come in so late? You said, you know, I just looked at the clock. I looked at him. He said, sweetheart, no, it's going to be, I said, let's just accept that this is how it's going to be. He said, no, it's not going to be like this. God forbid, blah, blah, blah. I said, let me just accept that I've entered one chance. I didn't say one chance, but it was more like, look, let's talk. Let's face reality. Tell me, like, look, it's going to be really busy. It's going to be, this is how it's going to be, but we're going to, but he was still saying, no, it's going to be better. It's just this week, you know, it's just been, and I tried. But, you know, the story was always okay. I thought I would leave at this time, but when I was about to leave, then a member came coming in. There were no phones then. Think about 27 years ago. No phones, nothing. So I'm about to leave, and then someone comes. So look at it typically then. It was a full-time pastor, and maybe he would want to wind up by 5 o'clock. But 5:30 is when someone is coming from their own work, and they want to come and talk to Pastor Laurie. My friend is in the building. Woo! Glad to have you here.
Yes.
So he would, you know, just say, okay, I'm on my way out, and then someone was coming. I was saying, Pastor, I was coming to see you. Had left work, maybe they were working on the island. The church was like Yaba, if you know Lagos, Nigeria. And then he would tell me like, oh, okay, so I had to stay. But that was when I was actually driving out, but I had to like reverse and go back to the church office and talk to her or talk to him. And so one person after the other. So I just imagine that another person will meet them there, another person will meet them there. And then till it's 9:30 and I get home at 10. Hello. But where's the place of like, okay, you know what, let's schedule, let's actually book an appointment. I can't see all of you today, maybe I'll see 2 of you. I need to get home, it's 7 o'clock. So if you still go home at 8, at least maybe I would understand. This is a young bride, this is a young marriage. We were both young, we're like both 26 years old, just turned 26. So he's 2 months older than me. There's no secret to that because we celebrate our birthdays on social media. Like we post and then we post our whatever, so you would know already that he's 2 months older than me, February, April, and we're both 26 when we got married. So wow. But he was a pastor, the burden was heavy, and so that was how and so there were days he would try, it would be good, but I just found out that I married a workaholic. Oh. And yeah, and it was really, really tough. So there were days, not even just weekdays where he would come home late, but there were days where, I mean, go ministration, minister, name babies, go, and sometimes we'll go together and sometimes we'll go alone. Sometimes we'll say, look, stay, let me quickly go with the pastors and come back, you know, and all of that. We wanted to be part of that. At least if we're together, at least I know I'm seeing you, even though we're doing ministry, but sometimes we'll be like, no, stay, let me quickly go and come, you know. So there were all kinds of misunderstandings then, and I realized there were times when I would just be in the bathroom, first year of marriage, and I'll just go to the bathroom and just cry. I've shared this with women before, you know, and I'll just bawl my eyes out sometimes. Through a pity party, when I look at the mirror, my eyes are all swollen, I will start again because I'll be like, is this me? No. You know, Bouquie, let me say it in vernacular, and then I'll reply, Shaye Mire, you know, it's like, is this my life? You know, is this my life? But that was all a pity party. That was all a pity party. But I've learned to be very relational with God. I've not always been like a very religious person, but relational. So I will tell God how it is. And I'll tell God that, look, okay, God, this hurts. But I thank you, Lord, because it's not like he's not away from me, or because not, I think it was neglect, that was, but it wasn't deliberate, you know. He was just being an ambitious pastor, wanting to make it, you know. And then we talked about, okay, he knows he's going to start a ministry somewhere in the future, a church or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah. So when it was about time, I supported him. Yes, let's do this and all of that. By that time, we had just a baby, and we're like, let's do it. I knew we would suffer, and then we'll go down and then build together. But he used to say then that, okay, things will be better then. But I said, I don't think so. Because when he said, no, I'll have freer time. But he's a lie. It was worse. The first 3 years of Daystar, oh my God, and you have to give time because we're both trying to build this thing. So it was worse, though you're not working under somebody else. But the passion of getting this thing to succeed, oh my God. So, but again, so those early years, especially when I was still working under that ministry, and I was, you know, I would go to God and say, God, but he's not in the bear parlor, he's not womanizing, he's about your business. And I also love your work, you know. So it was mixed up where I couldn't complain, you know. I couldn't complain, yet I wanted to complain, but I couldn't complain because there are other people who, this is a very saved man. I also saved, you know, both from our university days. We were saved in 2 different cities and then came together, you know, for purpose. So why would I complain? Because he's not in the bear parlor. He's doing your work. He's gone to preach, got to name people's babies. He's going to do wedding ceremonies, you know. On a Saturday, when, okay, let's have a little bit of downtime. Was like, I gotta go. There's this, it's always I got to go. And even up till almost recent times, we're talking, it's more like, let me pick this call. And he picks, let me pick this call. No, until I realized, I mean, I jumped on one of my prodigies Insta Live, and they're my daughters, they're real prodigies. I won't mention their names, and both of them are pastors' wives, and they were talking about, oh, I hide his phone. And one was saying, hiding phone? I do more than that. I'm like, yeah, look at my life. I was on their Instagram, and I was thinking, wow, why didn't I do these things? When I was much younger, I should have done these things. I didn't do these things, like hiding car keys or something. They were saying they would hide phone, they would hide car keys. Why didn't I do this thing? I think I was too nice to do those things or conceive that I could do those things. Because am I going to lie? I'm looking for my car keys. Am I going to lie that I didn't see the car keys? And then somebody's prayer meeting or somebody waiting for him to come and pray over their house, because in Nigeria this is you pray over house, you pray over new cars, you pray over everything. Pastor, we bought a new car, you was home and lay over aunts. Of course, in more recent times we're like, bring the keys to church, we'll pray over the keys and just bless it. Or we pray over, but then in those days you had to be there physically because of the demand. And a young pastor too, you want your work to grow, and if you're not there for people, it may not grow, they may not come, and if they don't come, they will give their offering and you have nothing. And oh my God, it was something else. And I used to think, God, you didn't tell me. I was excited, but you didn't tell me the journey will be like this. But let me tell you something that we talked about in recent times, and we were laughing, but we were both laughing, but I was also analyzing that, look, this is not a laughing matter. Let's analyze this thing. That I know I would still have married you. But remember, the only time we ever fought during courtship, during dating, the only time we ever had a fight, because we didn't used to fight, but the only time we ever had a fight was, so it was my cousin's wedding, my big brother, the one I lived with. He married 6 months before me, and I lived in his house in Palm Grove. And he was getting married 6 months before us. My parents, I think they had already met him and they really liked him. Like, okay, sure, whatever. But he couldn't come. So we were talking about, okay, so the wedding, where are we going to meet up? Are you going to come pick me, or you'll meet me there? Like, you know, this is the time, the idea and everything. So he was like, I won't be able to come because I'm going to pray over somebody's house. Chai. That somebody was not our member in Lagos, but was a member of his brother's church in Ibadan, Rema Chapel, because his brother pastored also the Ibadan branch. But today, they are now members of our church, the Rema Chapel. They now eventually, did they become members of Rema Chapel Lagos? Eventually, and then they're members of Daystar now. But at that time, they were not even our members. They said, yes, we had agreed that. So they had built a house in Lagos with the plans to move to Lagos, but they were, and I was like, no, but can't you reschedule it? It was like, I freaked out. I was like, no, this is not acceptable. I remember them were in the car, he was driving, and that was the only major fight we had. Not that was good, because please, if you're in a relationship, make up, fight, because you need to let each other know what things you value. So when we look back, I can't say I didn't know. So in marriage, when I was saying, oh, he was always coming back late, didn't I know he was always coming late? And even sometimes too, when he would visit me in my cousin's house, before we got married, sometimes he would come a bit late, you know. But he would still come and say, yeah, you know, he would still come. But it was worse after we got married, because then you're living in the same house. So when I was like, but this is my brother's wedding, this is so much, he's literally my brother in their family. I'm like, he's the last born in their family, I'm the firstborn, so I'm literally like the last born in their family. And I couldn't believe it. He said, I don't even know what he said, I just freaked out, and he did not come. So recently we talked about it, not that we've not healed and forgiven, but he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I said, you don't have to say you're sorry. I mean, that is already way back. But in recent times, when we're analyzing certain things, we saw that was a pattern. You were a nice person, not like you were a bad person, but you were giving yourself out to your work, your calling. But in that one instance, you could have said, you know what, okay, oh God, I didn't remember that was the wedding date. Let me go change. I'm sure they will understand, because I'm sure they too want you to marry, and they know you have a fiancé, and your fiancé's big brother or cousin or whatever, that she lived in his house. What if they said no to you, that you couldn't marry her? Is it because you already got green light from them? I'm like, I was there alone. My bobo was not beside me. So I'm looking now that, why do you even afraid that someone else will even toast me and I'll agree, because they'll feel like, oh, this is a bro. She's the younger sister. Oh, that means maybe she's free. There's no ring on her hand, but she has a fiancé. But where is the fiancé? I'm like, that was huge. So when I look back and pattern of things too now, when sometimes it's too busy for me, or sometimes I've also gotten really busy too, of course, you know, but I see that it's that same pattern, and that's what freaks me out. Fast forward to how many years afterwards, we read the book, Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Five love languages. And I saw that my love language was quality time and words of affirmation. So when we read the book, his was physical touch. Who's in the
Owner of
building? Who?
Chocolate City. The owner of Chocolate City. Aldo. He's saying hi.
Oh, thank you.
And Mike Abdul. Yeah.
I'll do, right?
Aldo, yeah, Aldo, yes.
Oh,
He started Chocolate City. Yeah.
That's huge. Thank you for joining. Okay, but from a celebrity like Bouqui, that's expected, right? Yeah. Wow. Thank you, people, for all the love. So, I mean, so where was I? So I realized that quality time was my love. So when I read that book, I said, Chai, this is what has been worrying me all this while. And you see, when you do not know something, you can't diagnose. Because when you diagnose, you will understand. So if we understand, so now young people, before they get married, you're in a relationship, you can read the book and know. As singles, even our children, we know what their love languages are. They know what they're... So you can actually say, my love language is quality time. What is yours? So the other person will already know, if I'm not able to give quality time, let me escape before we really cement the relationship. Or if you really believe the relationship is of God and you're so much in love and you believe you're for each other, then you begin to practice how you're going to work on quality time, how you're going to make sure that you give it. And then I also make sure that I give what he likes, physical touch. I think it likes words of affirmation as well. You just to make sure that you give, because someone will say, okay, because in recent time we're analyzing and we're saying, okay, am I trying to say that if I had known that not giving me, having time for me in the way I would want, if I had known he would continue to marry, if I had known that was my value, and because I've seen in a courtship, doesn't mean we should have broken up. I think we would have broken up, come back again, you know, like maybe after 2 weeks, maybe I would have said, look, I am not doing it again.
Thank God she didn't know. God, thank you, she didn't know. Thank God she didn't know.
No, but we would have still come back in the relationship. Love you too, Pastor Lauren. I would have still come back. I think it would have been like, that time I freaked out. Maybe I wouldn't have sucked it in. Maybe I would have, and then maybe that was huge. And then another time it became, then I would have said, you know what, this thing is such a pattern. And I know you're not a bad person, but it's such a pattern. And if you can't slow down and just give it to me, I'm not asking too much. I'm not saying every day, don't be late in coming to visit me or in coming to when we have an appointment to go out, but just in the one that mattered most, you know. Then I should have said, this is so huge. It's family is my value, and this is my brother getting married, the one I'm living with. So this is so huge. I should have seen it that you will pick church above me. I should have seen it that you put your work first before me. You know, I should have seen that and made a big deal out of it. And if he didn't adjust, then would have called it quits. But then it would not be a permanent quit, because both of us, I think, will not have peace. Because Oluwa is involved, right? God already has said this is a marriage that is for purpose. Purpose marriage. So marry for love and also marry for purpose. So we knew it was a purpose marriage. So it means that we would have still come back together. Maybe after 2 weeks or a month of saying, okay, you know what? Let's try and work this thing out. I can't get you out of my head. Or he will say, I can't get you out of my head. So let's work it out, right? But at least I would have made a big deal. But then I didn't know. Or is it I didn't have enough esteem to say this was a big deal? Or I looked away like, okay, fine. In marriage, it will be better. But it was not better. It was not. And he's a good man. You all know he's not a bad man. And maybe he's even watching right now.
Pastor Sam, I'm not saying anything.
I don't know. No, he's not watching, because if he's watching, you would have seen him join. Yeah, but he might overhear me from the other room. But the thing is, this is what we talk about freely now. I'm free to share it, and he too is free to share our, just our mistakes and our trying to adjust in the early years, so we can help people. So, and because we are healed now and we're not perfect, but we've gotten a hang of it, then it's more interesting, you see, and we're able to help people. Don't look away from things that you value. So maybe I didn't know I valued that so much. I didn't know. So now that's why we ask people to do their personality tests. Do your personality, know yourself. Yes, but you have to know yourself, because when you know yourself, that is how you'll be able to introduce yourself to somebody else. So know yourself. When you know yourself, you might say that, look, I'm an introvert. There are times that I just pull away. I'm just using that as an example. You know, you may say something, or a man may say, or a woman may say, look, I'm an introvert. What are you, an extrovert? Okay, I can see that. But the times I pull away with a good book, and you might think you offended me, but no, it's just me pulling away. So when you discuss that during the dating and everything, because you know yourself, when that begins to happen, even during the relationship, during the dating courtship period, but because you're not living together, you may not see a whole of that other. So when you get married and that begins to happen, the other person will remember that, okay, he had said that he has his moods, so it's not like I've done anything wrong. So you just be able to say, oh, you okay? You say, oh yeah, I'm fine.
I just need
you know, be say, what have I done now? You're not talking to me. What have I done? Oh, you have a fun. It's nothing. No, is it?
You start to react based on something you think is happening that is
happening. So Bouqui, I'm telling you, even recently, I'm going to be very real with you here. And thank God Pastor Lori is on this as well, this table. So I'm going to shake a table right now. And it is the table that I am on. So me, what happened in recent times, you know, we've done the temperament test, melancholy and all that, the one by Tim and Beverly Lahaye, how you act the way you do. We read that book when our children were younger, and we made them understand. We knew the one that was introvert, extrovert, or melancholy. But then they moved on from that. People developed what you call the DISC, the Myers-Briggs, which is the 16 personalities test, 16personality.com, which tells you whether you are INFJ and all of that. It's 16 different types. But there is a new one now, the Enneagram. Oh my God. When I ran the Enneagram just recent, this is just like a few days ago, I cried. I cried because in recent times I had done some things that I was thinking how do I put it, outside of my temperament, not my temperament, but I was having, and I'm good Pastor Lori's here because she may have been hit by what I did. Some months back, last year, like June or so, I unfollowed everybody on Instagram. And I was telling you, okay, not then, but some days ago, I unfollowed everybody on Instagram and it brought it down to 0. And that is because I felt my identity, I was attaching this, I felt I was addicted to Instagram. And I said on Twitter, my Twitter grew over the years. I wasn't a big Facebook person, but I'm on Facebook, but I'm more Twitter. And Hobby and he's a Twitter guru. And Twitter too, 300,000 followers. I think that wasn't bad. So it was about 200,000 at that point. And then I came into Instagram even before him. And my Instagram was going 10,000. I said, join this thing, Instagram, you need to use it. So eventually they opened one for him. And when I was 12,000, I think he was still like 6,000. I was like feeling cool. After a while, the man just overtook me. I just saw the thing like this. I said, yay. But I was happy for him because Pastor Sam is like likable. Wherever he is, he's liked. That is just the thing, you know. So sometimes it's annoying. But no, but he knows. We talk. We look. If there's one place where I am very real, it's in my bedroom. It's in my house with him. We're very real. And that's one thing that has saved me. And if you're a pastor's wife watching this, let me just tell you, I always tell pastors, there are pastor's wives who are introverts. I am not an introvert. So I may be introverted outside, like, or in the church, maybe the early days, like, just sit down, don't look like you're domineering, don't look like, and that was all of it. I lost my identity. Oh God, do we have time? I lost my identity somewhere along the line, even after we started Daystar. I lost my identity because people expect me to be a certain way. And there were times too when he too shied away from maybe just letting me be how I should be, because he said he didn't want people to think I was domineering or come across as controlling. And there was one day I asked him, but am I controlling? He said no, but I didn't want people to think you were that way. So I had to also play that card so that he will feel comfortable and people will not think that but I'm different from him. And so sometimes I won't want to share. And there was one day I got deliverance when I needed to share, and God just one day I would share, and sometimes I would struggle, but eventually it will be good. And people say, that was amazing, we laughed, we whatever. I'm like, no, But one day God said, you know what? When you're going to go up there, just go up as yourself. Just go up as a mother. Imagine, you know how you talk to your children. He mentioned their names. I said, okay, just go up. Don't even think that, oh, this is Daystar. And this was like Daystar to year 5, 6, 7. We're 25 years this year now in Daystar. We'll be 25 years. So at some point, they said, you know what? Just go up as a mother. No, that was about maybe the 10th year. I'd been preaching before then, but my release came. And when I would do that, people would say, oh, your flavor is different. So I began to use that, like not preach so often. You say, preach, now you're not preaching this Sunday. I say, I'm not. Continue. You know, the series you started is very sweet. So continue. I don't want to struggle. So if the series is leadership, okay, it's better leadership. I'm also good at leadership. But if it's like something like identity, if it's something like love, the month of, I may jump in on that. If it's something I'm not so, I'll be like, just be going on. I'll wait. So I found out that less was more. So even in recent times, I do that now. Sorry, I don't know, maybe someone needs that strategy. Less is more. So I'm not in your face, but the one time I appear like this, they're like, where has she been? Oh, they're laughing off everything. Meanwhile, in the early stages, I wanted to preach. I wanted to go when we started Daystar. I'm like, okay, yes, you need to feature me. We had other young guys that were with us, so we give them announcements. He wasn't traveling anywhere, so he would always preach. So I'm like, okay, to take announcements. I'm not even like, yeah, you know, this is not husband and wife ministry. You've got to earn it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I've got to earn. Oh yeah. My schooling, my training was very hard, and I can say it now because sometimes some people say, when did I say that? No, I say, you did say it, and now it's part of my story. So I'm like, you have to earn it. I'm like, okay, I will earn it. Because you know, when I was back in school, you've seen my journals about how God will, you know, talk to me and all that. So no problem, I will earn it. I'll work hard for it. But hey, where's the place of husband? Where's the place of so I began to negotiate in the bedroom. Okay, where's the place where maybe God allowed me to be married to you because he knew there was a call on my life, but he was married to you. Then you give me that platform and I will be able to, because you see, in our tradition, and back then, not just in our tradition, even generally in the world, women were not preaching. This is 27 years ago. This is 25 years ago. Fast forward to when Daystar started. That was when I wanted to come in and preach, you know, take announcements, do a little bit of, you know, encouragement here before you come up to preach. And you're telling me I must earn it. So I said, but maybe I will earn it, fine. But maybe God in his own design allowed me to marry to you so that I will have that platform. Yes. Well, my husband he wants to do everything by the books, almost to a fault. And sometimes I also do that, because now, even when he's doing whatever, I will say, no. So I'm checking him now. He's also checking him. So in this time, he's coming into the service and he has 2-3 people following him. Later, I'm going to say, it's not looking good. How many protocol do you need? You want to start? So yeah, that is what we'll be telling ourselves. And he will correct me in the room. If he preaches, if the diction was not too good, when we get home, I say, amazing service, because it's always amazing. It's always amazing. And then I can sandwich it and say, okay, you were saying some words, you were calling faith. And then you say, okay, yes, is this we've got to work on that. We've got to, but amazing. But then I'll compliment him again. But in all of it, no matter what, whatever way you pronounce it, people are still blessed. You know, because I would say nobody's going to tell you. I'm the only one that can tell you, because who will now go and say, excuse me, Pastor, with that grammar, yeah, but I got your back. You know, sometimes you might want to be defensive, and I'll say, hey, it's just me and you in the bedroom and the Holy Spirit. It's just, but sometimes you'll be saying, yeah, thank you, I know, I gotta work on it. So that's how we roll, people. So yeah, so that was hard when he said you must earn it, and I knew where he was coming from. He didn't want people to feel like, okay, because she's the wife, she's his wife, so she gets to take all the announcements, and the other pastors are not doing more. You know, he didn't want it to be automatic, but that was hard on me. But when I look back today, then I wouldn't have it any other way. I am glad, because today people know I've earned it, because today people say Sam and Nike Adeyemi. Before it was not Sam and Nike Adeyemi, it was Sam Adeyemi, and now they say Sam and Nike Adeyemi. And by the time they start saying Daystar Sam and Nike Adeyemi, I'm like, no, I don't want. I'm with the Real Woman Foundation. So again, my story, my journey of healing or whatever started before we really started Daystar, or was it after we started Daystar? No, before we started, no, after we started Daystar. And even before we said Daystar, he would say something like, but it's all out of ignorance that we're forgiving ourselves. So in the first year of marriage, I was clingy. I wanted to, when we say anchor to church and all of that, and be clingy. And one day he said, don't you have friends? I was like, yeah. All my single friends that I said, you better just stay, just move. Some were not married yet. Some I got married before them. I'm like, you know what? Excuse me. I may not have time for you people now because I need to. And he's like, don't you have friends? I mean, maybe one day maybe he just felt like, no, you can't come with me. Don't you have friends? I'm like, yeah. So I would look back at those words and take them personally. But now, years back, I began to be adjusted and realize that men need their space as well. And even though that was not the best model, but now I make excuses for him. And he also says, that was not good at all, But I realized then I had to stand alone and spend more time with God. And in God's presence, sometimes I'll say, God, you are the love of my life. When I'm feeling low, and then God will be like, hey, your head is correct now. You don't have time for me. Before you are giving me 5-10 minutes because your Baba was giving you face. Now that he's not giving you face, you now say, and it was easy for me because I'll go back, think back at my days in school, in fellowship at Obafemi University was really vibrant in the fellowship. Those were my richest times knowing God, growing in God's presence. And I'll be like, God, okay, I even met you first before I even met this guy. So it's an advantage if you knew God, if you had a relationship with God before getting married. Some people, after they get married, then they get saved, But I got saved, so I'll say, that's true. Why should I now relegate you? So I'll just love on God. I'll let him love on me, and he will tell me all kinds of things, how he loves me, how I'm amazing. And when I walk out of that presence, I will feel like it's like I'm taking something, I'm high, and my countenance will be better. And for a while, he wouldn't even be able to offend me. Not that he deliberately, but I would, until I start getting low on my whatever again. But I realized that we don't need to, doesn't have to be rob Peter to pay Paul, but that sustained me. And that is why today I preach love, I preach relationship with God, because no man can do it for you. And so even now that my husband is now really amazing, like all those, both of us were naive. That is the truth. We were both naive. And of course, if he was to say his own, he would say where I also hurt him with my words, sometimes you're like, just really saying it as it is instead of waiting to calm down. I'm not the type that will shout and flare up, but I'll just be like, this is abuse. This is abuse. And he'd be like, abuse? That is heavy. Nika, that is heavy. But I didn't think those were heavy words. So later I realized that they were heavy because in my family, so my dad, with my family, we can tell people as it is. But in his family, you've got to tiptoe with what you want to say. I remember when he first came to meet my dad, and my dad said, okay, bring him. So we both traveled from Lagos to Ibadan to meet my dad. And at the end of the day, we had a great lunch. My dad loved him from day one. They hit it off, and I was very happy. And then before we left, or maybe it was another day when we visited, but I don't know what my dad was saying. We're having a discussion, and I was like, no, daddy, it's this and all that. We argued a bit, and my mom too chipped in, and then I'm not sure if my sister was there. But when we were driving on the way back to Lagos, he was saying that, wasn't that kind of rude? Wasn't that kind of harsh the way you were talking to your dad? And I'm like, rude. That is normal. And even my dad, growing up, we still feared him a bit. Mommy was the one you could just push around. And we even still feared my dad a bit. But as we go older, we could say, Daddy, no. He says this is red, and I think it's orange. I said, Daddy, it's orange. You know how some other children will suck it up and say, let's not. No. So I still now said, okay. He said, no. But the argument, I said, but look at it. Okay, look at it. Do you notice that as we left, we hugged, we kissed? Everybody said yes. I said, hey, so that means there was nothing. So even if we were fighting, then we have finished it. So it wasn't like we were still on talking terms. We said, okay, well, that's true. Normal. Growing up, and he's seen it before. even at that time, whether it was when we came to meet first, and my dad would say something, and my dad would say, and my mom would say to my dad's name is Tunde Gabriel. Tunde, so my mom might say, Tunde, Ara Eloriye, being that Tunde should be saying to her husband. My dad is just a month or my dad is just a few days older than my mom. So my mom is a super sanguine. So I'm not totally sanguine. I have sanguine, but I have my moments. My mom is totally sanguine. I wish I could be totally like her because she's not easily offended. So she and my dad may have whatever, and the next moment she's packing his shoes, she's giving him a kiss, and I'm like, no, me, I must still hold it small. I'm like, how can you be so unconditionally loving? So when we argue, my mom would just say to him, because they also deal name by name basis because their ages are so close. So my dad, she would say to him that is yourself, that is you, that is why you got heads. That is why she would argue and say it is this, and you would, because that is you. She would be telling him, her husband, that Tunde, that is you, Nika is you, that is why she's not totally me like her will, laugh it off. So again, those were some of the differences that we had and brought into ministry. Ministry has its pressures, and the pressure of ministry was like people want to so it really hit me that people liked him, but
you are living in his shadow.
I didn't feel, and it was not just the shadow, and it's okay to be in someone's shadow because he's already like established minister. He was already known. He was a pastor. I was a member in the other church, and then we said, so it wasn't about, no, I didn't want the equal accord. I didn't want you to teach, I teach. No, I even liked teaching outside because I used to say something like, hey, Jesus didn't say stay ye in the church. He said, go ye into the world. So I used to say, take the 4 walls of the church, and the young pastors, whoever are with us, I am going out, and I would tell the women, let's go out. Even then, the women want to learn how to set table and how to, I'm like, that's fine. But I'm like, people are dying outside. Souls are perishing. So I will go into the brothels. I will bring them to church. I will talk to the people that are not regular. The friendship evangelism. So even till now, I'm still more of an outside person. What kept me in was more of the children. But the moment they grew, I'm like, I am letting loose. I am going to the world. So social media is my space because I feel like now social media is democratized. My Instagram is my platform. I don't need any microphone. I don't need any pulpit. And that is to say to us out there, even in COVID times like this, COVID times is good because all of us have been too fixated about the 4 walls of the church. He said, go ye into the world. So you're supposed to be outside. So really all that, don't you have friends? All that, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm going to feature all before it comes around to your turn. And then I'm thinking that why wait? And also, honestly, without bitterness, my heart was drawn to girls on the street. Why are they selling their bodies? Don't they have a mother to tell them? And I became genuinely interested in them, and they became my friends. And that's how the Real Woman seminars were formed. The Real Woman Foundation shelter was formed. The orphanage, which is still standing, was formed because these people that needed the love. And when I began to hear their stories, I found that because they were not loved at home, or they had been abused, their father's friend had abused them. So when they came from wherever they migrated from, usually from the eastern part of Nigeria to Lagos in search of greener pastures, some thought they were just coming to work or live with their big sister. And they found out that it was prostitution, and then they had to jump in. And so there were stories of fragmented family relationship where their mom was not there, their mom didn't see that their teacher was already abusing them, or their father's friend. Why can't you talk? To be like, one was like, my father's friend, he has been his friend, he has been in our family before I was born, so it will be my word against them. So I loved on them, and my career had a shift. It became,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Remember when Paul wanted to be friends with all the disciples, and they were like, no, what if you now plan one day and kill all of us? So it was actually because God sent him to the Gentiles. His destiny was the Gentiles.
Yes.
So that's not opening the door for him was so that he could fulfill destiny. What if all that happened so that you would not be in the church? What if God magically orchestrated it in such a way that you will fulfill destiny? Because the church people had embraced you, you will be first lady with hats, doing money again. Hallelujah.
That is why, yeah, I'm grateful to my husband for that. It was not funny during the journey, but I look back and I'm glad that he was hurt, that he was, because it brought purpose in me, and he didn't know, pushing me away as it seemed, not leaning on him too much, even though, so even while he wanting his space, also saying, look, you go do something else. I was reading it as rejection, but God was using it to draw me. Yes, and then I became sensitive to rejection, to people who are rejected, because I would say, at least me, I still have a husband at home. Okay, so even if I'm not happy with him this moment, and I'm counseling someone, a young lady who's had rejection from her father or so much pain, that moment, I immediately, I can't even remember, I was not talking to my husband by the time I get home. Why? Because I have seen people whose cases are even worse than me, and then I feel so guilty, like, Nika, you still have a husband, he loves you. It's just like, you feel like he's not doing what, he's still waking up, you're on the same bed, but this is huge. So when I began to see what they call real rejection, sometimes I would say, Lord, I'm sorry.
You repent.
Yes, that kind of a thing. But we're not making light marriage that you need to also, give yourselves to one another. Again, because some people may not be able to hang in there. What if 3 years into the marriage, I call it quits, and then I later regret because I said, okay, so then, because there are women or men who are married today, they'll say, oh, if I knew what I knew the first 3 years, I wouldn't have thrown in the towel. Do you see? So again, just still be there for each other, but carefully help mold them, help, say, look, you go do something, you go, because he wasn't saying there's fire in you, so stop clinging to me, go do no, it was more like go. So I had to go figure it out, because he too didn't know what he was doing, but God was so merciful and faithful, so again, that is where I discovered my purpose outside the four walls of it.
3 minutes more. I can't believe it, Pastor Nike. We have 3 minutes more.
Oh my God. Where's that place in Acts 10:13 when the voice came to Peter and said, arise, Peter, kill and eat. And Peter said, no, Lord. No, Lord. You said we should not touch the unclean thing. But do you know that if God said, do not eat these unclean animals, and in a vision you saw angels, you saw a sheet being lowered before you, and there were unclean animals inside, and the Lord said, Peter, eat. And now Peter is arguing with the Lord, because Peter didn't say, get thee behind me, Satan. Peter said, no, Lord, I will not. That means he knew it was the Lord, but he was arguing. He said, so is he trying to say, God, you can't change the syllabus? I will hold on to the old syllabus. Lord, you move on with the new. How is that possible? So you see, sometimes we cling to the old. It's pouring new wine into new wineskins, but we're staying with the old. We're staying with brook cherry that has dried up, and we're still saying that, no, brook, I command water to come back. Meanwhile, God has said, go to the widow of Zarephath, where I will feed you. But you're like, no, that cannot be the voice of the Lord, because the Lord has said I should come to protect. But God didn't say die there. He didn't say die there. Some people, they want to say, we died here, we died there. No.
Season.
You cannot die there, because for a season the brook fed you. But God said, I'm done with the brook, move on to this. But you're like, God, I am not done, so I'm going to stay with the brook. You will stay forever, and you will just wonder why life has passed you by. So in this season, flexibility is the key word. Flexibility. God is the God of the now. He is moving with us. Even the children of Israel, he moved with the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. So who are we to dictate? And of course, because he wanted to use Peter, while Peter was still arguing, and then he woke up, people were knocking on the door and said, please,
we have 29 seconds. 29 seconds. People are saying come back, but I know you're busy, so we can't come back.
So your identity is know who you are, know who you're called to, go with who's drawn to you. Okay, I'm drawn to creatives like Bouquie. I'm not just drawn to people who are okay in the church. I'm drawn to people who are not okay. And so in recent times, the Lord began to heal me. Even now, I'm going through healing. I said, be yourself, know who you are and how you are wired. So because I recently did the Enneagram personality test, I realized, and this was just a few days ago, I broke down because I realized, I won't tell you what my type is. Go do the test. And my type, it breaks down who you are, how you are wired, everything, and it talks about your weaknesses, the weak side.
Is there a website we can find it on?
Just go to enneagram.com.
Okay.
Enneagram. Just Google it. Enneagram. If the spelling is wrong, we'll correct it. So enneagram.com.
Okay.
And so it told me how I will act when I'm stressed. This is my personality type. It's not just about extrovert. And I really broke down because it shook my table. Everything. It described me as I am. I love to help. I love to love people. I love to, but when I'm not feeling it, I'm something else. Other things set in. I think that's what led to unfollowing people and unfollowing some back and not following some back because I didn't feel loved. I also want to have that acceptance, and but it messed me up, and I realized that. So it talked about the healed. So we tell your personalities, and it was telling me about this is how I act when I'm healthy, and this is how I act when I'm stressed with my personality type. Do you see? So I'm focusing on, okay, how am I supposed to act when I'm a healthy, person with this person? Because you can be loving, kind, help people and everything, but you can experience burnout, and you can experience some bitterness or some hurt inside, and people will know you're hurt. Yes, and while you're still looking nice and kind and doing all nice things, and people may not know inside that you're suffering because you don't feel loved. And it doesn't mean that they do not love you, but you're not feeling the love, and so you're using that to judge. And so in these last few days, I realized that I shouldn't use that to judge. I shouldn't use. So our identity is not tied to our social media. It's not tied to our likes. It's not tied to. And that was what I was fighting when I thought, let me unfollow everybody, then follow a few people back. And so the people I didn't follow back may feel like, they may not tell me, but they may be like, oh my God, if she's following so and so and she didn't follow me back and she unfollowed me, I must have done something, but you didn't do anything. It's me trying to have a coping mechanism, which may have been worldly or may have been a wrong coping mechanism. I don't know, but I just needed to cope. I love Instagram, but I felt it was addictive and I can't throw it away. I'm using it as a platform for ministry. I'm using it as a platform for love, exchanging love. You like my like, I like your like, how you doing? But it was becoming too overbearing for me that I wasn't focusing, and it was just becoming overbearing. But now, because I am in this space that I'm getting this new healing and new discovery, I am happy. And that shows how imperfect I am. If I am just still discovering some things about me, about my personality and my, it's like shaking table. It's like, you have some dark side when you realize that, okay, so there's still some dark side. And I'm not saying dark side like I'm not saying, but wicked, you are not all that and a bag of chips. Now it's
you are all that and a bag of chips.
but what I want to, so what I'm saying now is self-awareness. You see, when we are not aware, we don't give our best. So self-awareness was low. At the time we were getting married, I couldn't describe myself. I was not very aware of myself. I think Confucius or whatever said, know thyself. And in the Bible, to know yourself and take heed to yourself and to the flock that the Holy Spirit, that the Lord has made you overseers of. I am just trying to be, born again. But this is so internal that I didn't have to share it with anybody. But it's such an internal work that the Lord is doing on me and I'm doing on myself. And that is why it's identity and it's the uppermost thing I want to share. We share a whole lot of things, 6 steps to success, 7 steps to success. But we will self-sabotage ourselves when we have amazing things to do. But when we are not emotionally healed or emotionally adjusted, or when we second guess ourselves, or when our thinking is off, when we're not in that mental space that we'll throw away what we should embrace. What we should throw away. We'll be thinking, they're so hard on themselves, they'll be thinking, I'm not good enough. Why are they giving that job? Some people are like that. Mine is not that. Mine probably is the other side where I think, I'm okay. I'm a loving person. I'm nice. I know I'm nice. I know I'm loving. I love people. But you're loving when you're over loving and you expect them to love you back. If they're not loving you back, then you begin to feel somehow. Then there's something there. There's motive, and the Lord has to deal with that and excavate that. But there's some who are so extreme, maybe they are more introverts and they're amazing, but they do not accept that they are, because they're always still thinking, you know, I didn't do that. Oh, you know, and some are just warriors. Some are just warriors. What is huge to you is huge to you. And what sets people off, you don't know. Anthony Bourdain, that CNN guy last year, 2 years ago, that committed suicide. People looked at it and said, this guy, we want your life. You travel around the world tasting food. You're doing what you love. And you had an amazing daughter. Why did he kill himself? Depression. What was he dealing with? Was he dealing with being unloved? The whole world, well, most of the world loved him. But was he dealing with some deeper things that we didn't know? Because it was a shock to everybody. It may be like, I just thought, okay, if he had Christ, if he had Jesus, if he had the Holy Spirit, maybe the Holy Spirit will let him know that, no, you know, it's going to be okay. I don't know, but it was so mental. So we all have to protect our mental. It was so mental health. Well, his outward looked amazing. Like, this guy travels, he tastes food around the world. People are loving on him. But maybe he didn't feel loved. Or maybe the enemy was telling him a lie that you're not loved, you're not loved, okay? They only love you because on TV, yes, you bring in the money for CNN, whatever. Maybe he was telling himself. Maybe something was telling him that it's not reality. Yes. And so we were shocked. And he was missing from the world, and we thought, oh my God. So again, we should never judge what anybody calls huge to them. And not say, oh, your own is even small. Look at what mine, you know. Say what you're going through, I see what I'm going through, and let's strengthen one another. You know, so I just want to pray for people going through stuff in this season. People have been going through stuff before COVID-19. Even now in COVID-19, it seems to make it worse, but please just hang in there. And you see, Bouquie, in this season of COVID, there are winners. There are winners in every industry. Look, businesses, some are thriving, some are not. Well, you notice that if your business is not thriving in this season, your emotions, your family life may be thriving. Focus on that. Take joy in that. Your relationship will be thriving, yes. And then when the COVID is over, your business may start thriving. Or right now, maybe all you can do is you're not even making any money, but you're doing all the Insta Live, the finance Insta Lives, you are jumping in on webinars, and you're gaining a lot. But look at what you're gaining. So some businesses are doing well, some are not doing well. But you know what? In this season, the family should be a winner. Why? Family and relationships, because you are all in the same space, whether you like it or not. So all of us, we are here. Pastor Sam is here. We got locked down here in the US, not in Lagos, Nigeria. We could have been there and our kids here in the US, but we are locked down in the same space. So again, we've got to bond. We've got to do it. And the first 2 weeks, it was stressful. I needed rest before COVID. So when it happened, I kind of low-key thought, Lord, did you hear my prayer? I didn't say put the whole world on rest. Was this just for me? But now it's not fun anymore. And then I realized my husband declared, Pastor Sam declared Daystar year of rest. In December 31st, he said it's a year of rest. Where in Hebrews 4, he says, now there remaineth there a rest for the people of God, that we have ceased from our works. So because he has finished the works before the foundation of the world, so we should do work from a place of rest. So during the COVID, I'm like, did God want us to like truly rest? Not just the rest, but like truly rest. And for the first 2 weeks, we're not resting because you're doing webinar on one side, I'm doing Insta Live. As a matter of fact, if I have Insta Live, okay, I've accepted Insta Live with Bouquie for so and so date. I hope you're not doing a webinar. Not because we don't have two sets of lights or whatever, but because in the same space, someone's voice shouldn't be interfering with another one. So David has something super busy because it's helping him to record the church services and send it to the media people in church. You know, so we are all doing, my daughter too is doing her homework online. So sometimes she's like, please, can everybody quiet because I have a Zoom meeting with my teachers. I'm like, okay. So we're like, but in everything, we've got to live together. We've got to pull together, even through the busy. So I say that what God wants, what we can get out of COVID, though it was a plan of the enemy, but you know God, he will always still get glory out of something. So that at the end of the day, the enemy will say, had this thing not happened. I know people are dying and it's so sad, but at the same time, People are living and people are being birthed. Destinies are being birthed. People are still enough. Someone whose business is not doing well. It may not be, how do I vamp up this business? Vamp it up. It may be like, be still. And God may give you another business entirely, another angle, another segment.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. And let me tell you, even in this season, those who are single won't say, before COVID, we've not had relationship. Now during COVID, do you know that during COVID, some people will get engaged? During COVID, some people are going to be texting each other. During COVID, some people are going to be like, Bouqui'S place, yeah, girl. Entering people's DM and all of that. It's technology. It's technology. Relationships will start, relationships will flourish during COVID. All that is left is afterwards. Now you see yourself face to face, hug yourself, whatever. Even the social distance is good for you. So you're not like getting into that other side of stuff. You are creating friendship. Because if you don't create friendship and you begin to jump into sex, you begin to jump into kissing and everything, before creating friendship, it warps the marriage too. So people can build solid relationship by talking on phone, by video. Girl, I can't wait to hold you, to touch you, but meanwhile you've now been friends for 3 months during COVID. So people shouldn't throw out, when there was no COVID, there was no relationship. So it is inside COVID that you will have God ordained relationships where you're talking on phone for hours and you find your rib and you're like, oh, but we could talk and talk and talk. After a while, we change it to FaceTime and we're seeing each other. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sleep. You too. Good night, good night, good night. Are you awake? Are you awake? I am telling you, people can take their love life to the next level.
Hints, boys and girls, take hints. Take hints from
nothing is off limits during COVID. We've just got to look for that ray of sun, that silver lining, that God, what do you want me to get out of COVID? What will you do through me or for me out of COVID? People who didn't preach before, they are preaching now, and I'm happy. People who, again, you started Bouqui'S place or you revamped it during this time, and it's just amazing. People who maybe have not been worship leaders, they know they can sing, but maybe they were never approved or good enough or accepted for the choir. They didn't pass the audition. Hey, set up your Insta Live, go or whatever, sing, put it out and say, this is me just singing. And then people are like, what amazing voice. So just do you. Heal, find your identity, roll with it. Forgive, talk to those who you need to talk to. Since you're not going to be seeing them face to face, you're just going to call them and, not out of, all of that will be going on, but it shouldn't be out of fear, because some people may think that, if I die, I want to make food. Let me make up with all the people that, no, you're not dying, you're not
operate from a place of fear.
Yeah, so people have been vulnerable, and you to live your truth, be vulnerable with people as much as possible, because we all suffer and we all heal, and even those you think are already there, they're not there. I'm not perfect, Pastor Sam is not perfect. He's enough for me. He is enough for me, and I thank God. But we keep trying to be better, And when we are stressed, when people are stressed, that's when that, that side, like demons are kind of like trying to. And I find out that, play music. Let good gospel music, good rap, like Bouqui'S rap, or whatever does it for you. Like classical. I like classical music. I always like classical music. People don't know that about me. I've always liked classical music, Beethoven and or whatnot. Just listen to what will bring a pleasant atmosphere around you. And at the end of the day, you find yourself prophesying, you find yourself thinking good thoughts, So Bouquie, thank you for having me, and I just pray and bless for everyone that watched in the first segment and in the second segment, that there will be healing, there will be empowerment. You will receive ideas, witty ideas, creative ideas. Oh, the Lord will make even your tongue like the pen of a ready writer. In your still moments, you will download from heaven. Even for the next 5-10 years of your life, things that you will be and you will do. The Lord will show you things that are not even for now. Everyone needs to have a journal. So Lord, in Jesus' name, open the windows of heaven, pour out ideas for your people, pour out grace, truth, show them angles which even others have not seen before, Father, and that will still their hearts, oh God, and let them know that There's life after this thing, and we'll get through it. So, Father, we pray for those who have lost a loved one. Lord, please comfort them, strengthen them, and bless them, oh God. Give them beauty for ashes. Give them the oil of joy once again. In Jesus' name. Amen. Bless businesses, Lord, like never before, oh God. Bless marriages. Those who are single, Lord, bring them together, oh God. Let them start relationships that will lead to fruitful homes in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Oh wow. Can I get 100? Pastor Nick, we love you. Like capital L-O-V-E, capital L-O-V-E. Pastor Nick, I just want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you for being so transparent. Listen, this is what the world needs. Because we are walking our path, regular people, and we think that this Christian journey is just so big, we can't attain. Because the people have made it look like it's for superheroes. And because I first saw it in my mind, I said, I can't be a superhero. I'm just going to do me. But the truth is, God wants us to bring ourselves the way you explained to us now by not even saying it. You showed us your life. Now, look, this is me. I have my inadequacies, I have my excesses, and I'm working things out. And that is the transparency we need in this season. So we just want to say a Bouqui'S place, thank you. Everybody, cash up. You know, money is my own love language.
Cash App is your love language. Oh my God. Yeah, text me your Cash App. When we are done, you text me your Cash App, okay? And I forgot to say, I should have told you. I forgot to tell you that I want to say, hey, I'm having a webinar on Thursday. If you go to the link in my bio, it says free webinar, my link tree. It says free identity webinar. So it's a free webinar. It's on Zoom or whatever. It's free, but you have to register. I'm talking about identity. I'm going deeper on other things. So if you like, just go to Nike Adeyemi on Instagram. You see my LinkedIn. Click on it and then click. It's a short registration, just your name and email. That's all we ask for. So,
okay. So guys, she's pinned. See, her name is pinned there. Click on her name, go to the bio, and then register. You need to be equipped in this season. Listen, this information we're bringing to you, if we didn't bring it to you this way, it will be hard for you to digest. No matter how much you love your baby, when you have a baby, you don't give the baby steak. I love you, yeah, take steak. No, you break it down in such a way that the baby can take it and digest it, and you've been so, I mean, like, this is unprecedented, your transparency. We just want to say thank you.
And I celebrate you, Bouqui. I celebrate you. You have evolved, you have transformed and transformed. Over you have been many things, and there were times when it's like, what am I? I'm doing rapping, I'm making shoes, I'm doing a show. Now you're pastor, Reverend, was it Reverend, was it? I'm like, you are still evolving, but all of that is coming together because God is using you and you're not limiting yourself. You are allowing that flow. So to everyone, allow that flow. Don't just say, I'm one thing and I'm going to stay. Look, if God is saying, go into this area, try it out. Try it out because that may be where your breakthrough is.
Thank you so much, Pastor Nick. We love you. You guys go register. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.